Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called Juliet Naked. The three people in this movie that star in this irresistible romantic comedy based on the novel by Nick Hornby. Annie is stuck in a long-term relationship with Duncan, an obsessive fan of obscure rocker Tucker Crowe. When the acoustic demo from Tucker's 25-year-old hit album surfaces, its release leads to a life-changing encounter with the elusive musician in this heartwarming story about finding love when and where you least expect it. This is a 2018 film. It runs 97 minutes. It is rated R. And it stars Rose Byrne, Ethan Hawke, and Chris O'Dowd. Chris O'Dowd ends up being the freak that is so compulsive about this musician. Juliet Naked. Well, first off, how I heard about this movie or how it came across my path. I know it was in theaters. I knew it was in the smaller market theaters, so I wasn't gonna waste my time going to see it when there are big blockbusters in the main theaters to go see. But I do like to give movies like this a try. I do think they deserve attention. I didn't really know what it was about when I saw Naked as a movie in the title in a movie theater. I was like, okay, I don't know if I feel comfortable seeing that in a theater. I guess that's my thinking. So, but yeah, otherwise, it being a small market movie, I just wasn't going to waste my time, even with the stars in this. So, I just saw it, and I liked it. Sorry. This is just kind of a weird movie. It has some B-list actors and a B-list story, and it just kind of feels like a lot of other movies, but it's not as enjoyable as those movies. It's original, kind of a thought. It's a nice little story and everything, but I just don't really know what to think about it. I want to really, really like it, but the fact that it takes place overseas, we've had some movies like Bridesmaids hit, with the kind of offshore comedy and everything, and we have all these kind of actors and actresses coming out with their accents, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not, but this is just kind of a mixture of all of that, and they put it all into this movie. It takes place in London, has some different comedy, has a different story, but it has a feel of a lot of other movies. So I'm not really sure what to think of it, but I do think it was neat. I do think it was interesting. I do think it was original. What this ends up being about, not to give too much away because it does come out in the beginning of the movie, but this Juliet Naked is the title of the movie, is actually ends up being the title of a music album, which is why it's interesting, right? So you're going to say, oh, okay. So the title and what the movie's about is about music. So it's like a music movie, right? No, not really. I don't think I heard but one song performed in this movie. Chris O'Dowd listens to a lot of music, but you can't really tell the substance of the song and what it's about, and get the feeling from it like a musical does. So I think they just kind of missed the point here. If you're going to have it about music, have more music and let us get to know, this Tucker Crowe character, and let us hear more of his music so we can maybe get attached and feel the same things that Chris O'Dowd's character is supposed to be feeling. I just think it could have used more music. Then the other problem that I have with this is, yeah, it has the feel of Sleepless in Seattle and other, nice movies. It could be a classic, for some people. I really think that. You sit down, you watch this, you enjoy it. Okay. But I just don't think it was as funny as it could have been. Like sometimes Chris O'Dowd says a lot of things that I don't know. It rubs people the wrong way, his comedy. And I think he's had one big hit, and now he's starting to kind of rely on that way of telling jokes, and it just doesn't work in every movie. So he needs to be a little bit more adaptable. But I think this just could have been a little bit more funny. I think different things could have been delivered a certain way, and it just would have felt more natural. Everything just felt really pushed, and even when Annie and Chris O'Dowd's character, when they're like just together, he's like yelling from the other room for her how to make soup or something like that, and it just doesn't feel natural at all. It doesn't ease, it doesn't go smoothly, and I think they could have used a little bit more just feeling natural in this movie. It would have made things go along a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable for people viewing it. And the other part, that you talk about movies like this in this genre, you just kind of expect it to be a little bit more heartfelt. Play up to our feelings. Have things happen that might make us cry or make us really think. About, oh my gosh. Like the worst thing in this movie is Ethan's character has a heart attack, and this heart attack, you think they play up on it, they make you feel for him and everything, and make his family connect, because he had this. And that scene where he has a heart attack is just a circus. It's a bunch of people standing in the room wondering why he's a bad father. It's like what are you doing? You have a real chance in your movie to have play on people's feelings, and you just missed it. Well, and then we get to the ending, and I'm getting really tired of these stupid endings, but it just seems like everybody wants to end their movie in the most stupid way possible. So, you have all this characters, and you have them like each other, and, this movie isn't that long. It's a little over an hour and a half. And, for the last time that after an hour and a half, the couple minutes, 7 minutes or so, like, it's almost like you could have just cut out those 7 minutes, just made it an hour and a half. If you're going to make an hour and a half, keep it there, But they had 7 minutes on it or so. And it's just about this girl moving on with her life, and she's going to do all these things by herself. And then, nope, we're kidding. Happily ever after kind of ending. And I'm like, what are you doing? You ruined the whole movie in 7 minutes, and you contradicted yourself like 3 times in those 7 minutes, and then you just end it in the most sappy way possible, and then you don't give us any substance of whatever happens to them. So add another, 20 minutes if you're gonna make this movie longer. Make it longer with substance. Give us some idea of how it works out with them. And I've watched 2 movies lately that have like a flash telling the viewer what happens in the future with their main character. And I don't understand that strategy. If you're going to end your movie with, an hour and a half or so of really not much material except an interesting story, and then you're going to have the last 30 seconds to 5 minutes be a flash of what happens a year down the road or a month down the road, who knows, and that's your ending. I just think that's really weak. So the only other part of this is that there is some cussing along the way, and I think it could be a lot nicer movie if there was no cussing. If you throw in a couple lighthearted jokes and have some more romance so that people can get more connected to your movie. So I just think with, or I said earlier in my review that these are a bunch of B-list actors. I think this is a B movie, and I just wish it would have been better. I wanted more out of this. I wanted it to be a classic, and I wanted them to cut out the cussing. I wanted them to play on our emotions more. I wanted them to have a really great romantic finale of an ending, but they just kind of chicken out, and they have all this other stuff in there, and I just can't help the lack of comedy. Just isn't that funny. So a B for Juliet Naked. Check it out for the music and the interesting story, but just don't expect much more. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would, and enjoy your movies. Thanks.